As you probably know, filming a movie is a long and meticulous process. Each scene is recorded several times, and the same scene can be filmed for several days. During the editing of the film, the editors choose the best scenes, which sometimes have been recorded on different days. For that reason, the filming crew has problems to recreate all the tiny details. The result of this difficult process is a bunch of foolish mistakes, often caused by costume designers or those in charge of recreating historical places and weapons. In almost any movie, you can find one or two insignificant flaws, which are easily overlooked. In other cases, people make stupid and very obvious mistakes. Today, we're going to talk about those mistakes. So here we have the 10 stupidest movie mistakes. Let's get it on. Important and scandalous works of Quentin Tarantino in recent years, and has been criticized by some experts who accuse the director of being too light when dealing with historical issues. For example, the protagonist of the movie, a freed slave known as Django, wears for most of the film a pair of sunglasses, although the first pair of such glasses appeared in the US in 1929, while the movie takes place in 1858. What a liar, right? However, it's not a good idea to accuse the creators of not being faithful to the reality, since it is a work of art. Moreover, the music is a mixture of funk and soul, genres that appeared in a different time. In one of the most remembered scenes of the movie, we can see how the hero, played by Ryan Reynolds, solves the problem of being handcuffed in a simple way, cutting his left hand. Very brave, right? But when you watch the hero falling, you can see that for some reason the amputated hand is the right one. And although it is quite difficult to surprise the fans of this movie with an amputated hand, this film error is one of the dumbest. Shit. About the legendary movie Gladiator, which takes place almost 2,000 years ago. During the Battle of Maximus in the arena, you can see that apart from the usual viewers, there is a reporter with a video camera. Apparently, he's broadcasting live for Old Rome TV. You can also see that due to the weather, people are carrying half-liter water bottles. Well, anything's better than suffering from dehydration. We were also surprised by the shoes of the ancient Romans. Apparently, modern designs have been inspired directly by that civilization. Today, historians claim that gladiator fights were in part an orchestrated show, such as wrestling is today. Seeing how the opponents hurt one another with their swords, it sounds right. In addition, at the end of the film, when Maximus falls to the ground dying, you can see that his head is placed on top of a sand pillow. But to be honest, it doesn't look like the hero can die, since his blood doesn't seem to coagulate. This can be seen at the beginning of the movie, when the gladiator is wounded in the chest by a soldier in Germany. And then in Spain, the wound is still bleeding. Yes, clearly something is wrong with him. It takes at least a month to travel from country to country on horseback. Now imagine a month of bleeding. Fantastic. The television program has several seasons that, logically, are not free from mistakes. We'll show you the most notorious ones, okay? To begin, at one of the banquets in Winterfell, you can see a photograph invited to immortalize this memorable moment. In this other scene, Arya is watching some very dangerous criminals, and also very obedient criminals. If you see, the cage is not locked. And if you've seen the show, surely you know that Karth is a very important commercial city, but it seems that they've already begun to sell tubes from the future. Otherwise, where did they get these stylized railings? Unwittingly gave the power to move quickly not only to the vampires of the saga, but also to objects. The window of the clinic room moves during the scene. And in addition, the body position of Edward also changes between takes. In addition, the microphone used by the film crew can be seen reflected in the window of the vehicle driven by Kristen Stewart. It's also reflected in the hood of the car in the scene where Bella's father hits the wheels and offers to change the tires. It's worth noting that the budget of the film is $37 million. They could have tried to make a better movie, right? In our opinion, the creators of the movie should feel a little ashamed of the result. Troy. If we believe everything we see in this movie, then humans at the time could build planes with ease. And not just any plane, but real Boeings. And they could do it at least from the year 1193 BC. It's exactly a Boeing that passes over the head of Brad Pitt in the movie. The most interesting thing is that we always talk about the Trojan horse when there were more interesting things. I've seen this movie, and the plot is so interesting that there's no time to notice errors of any kind, but we have taken the time to do it, and we will surprise you. For example, in the meeting between Voldemort and the Death Eaters, the villain of the movie has his magic wand in his left hand, and in an instant, in his right hand. A real magician, no doubt of that. And now look, in the scene where Dobby and Kreacher take Mundungus Fletcher to Harry, next to the door used by Mundungus you can see a table with a basket and other objects. But a few seconds later, you can see that the table is practically empty, and instead of the basket, we can see a black pot. Apparently someone was doing magic in secret. Despite the large number of movies of this franchise, the fourth episode is best known for its large number of film errors. Judge for yourself. Darth Vader, after having captured Princess Leia's ship, grabs one of the soldiers by the throat, breaks his neck and throws him against a wall. But the corpse has time to protect his face with his hands. Obviously he didn't want to break his nose against the wall. By the way, in that same scene there's a very funny mistake. Look at the grey symbol in the background. Without any reason, the drawer changes to another similar in style. Now look at this scene where Luke lies unconscious on the floor after being attacked. Actually not a very important mistake, but it seems that he came back to fix the sleeve of his shirt as it changed in an instant. Iron Man. We're almost sure that all of you have seen this amazing movie, and you sure want to know about the mistakes that the creators made during the filming process. For example, here's one of them. Pepper goes down into Tony's lab where he's working with a car motor. She opens the glass door, and turns out Tony's not alone in the room. There's a man in a white t-shirt in the reflection. That's weird. Who could it be? And here's another one. Do you remember that moment when Raza takes the schemes of the weapon Tony's been working on from the table? You can see that there's not a piece of paper left on the table. Raza takes the whole pile. But suddenly, instead of the pile, he ends up having merely one drawing, and when he puts it back on the table, we can see the other papers appeared on the table somehow miraculously. And here's another one. When Tony's passionately making the Mark II suite, sitting in front of the computer, we can see that the cup with the Stark Industries logo is upside down. It's right next to Tony's left arm in plain view. A second later, it's not only bottom down, it also has something inside, considering that Tony drinks something out of it. Probably the mischievous Voldemort from Harry Potter movies is having fun again. But really, we don't get it. How come they make such stupid mistakes in such an expensive movie? Like this one with the cup. What do you think? Shall we forgive them for making those errors? This historical drama, directed by Mel Gibson, tells us the story of the Scottish struggle to free their people from England. It has also been criticised for its large number of inaccuracies and errors. Many of them were pointed out by experts on the subject.
Hello, we is experts.
For example, the Scottish flag with a white cross on a blue background appeared long after the time described in the film. But there are also more stupid and obvious mistakes, like swords and axes that bend like rubber, or the medieval shoes of the main character with laces like modern slippers. It's also worth noting the absence of a bridge in the Battle of the Bridge of Stirling, or the English riders pacing quietly between the rebel rows. However, the most obvious mistake is the director's white vehicle, which appears in one of the scenes. Could it be that no one noticed? Amazing gadgets, upcoming technologies, incredible inventions, and other cool stuff related to high tech on TechZone. Subscribe, you won't regret it. The link